Ready, start. Honorable members, in order to enhance the profitability of agriculture, my government is also placing emphasis on creating modern agricultural infrastructure. The Agriculture Infrastructure Fund of rupees 1 lakh crore has also been started from his purpose. The Kisan Rail started throughout the country is helping chart a new course by increasing the access of Indian farmers to new markets. This rail is like a mobile cold storage. So far, over 100 Kisan rails have been started, which have enabled the farmers to transport over 38,000 tons of food grains and fruits and vegetables from one region to the other. In order to increase the income of farmers, my government has also focused on development of livestock as a source of income. As a result, the livestock of the country has been increasing at an annual rate of 8.2% over the last 5 years. The government has also set up the annual husbandry infrastructure development fund of rupees 15,000 crore for creating basic infrastructure and encouraging investment in dairy sector. My government has also extended the facility of Kisan credit cards to animal husbandry and fishery sectors. Efforts have been undertaken to increase the income of fishermen through the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. In this sector, an investment of about rupees 20,000 crore has been planned over the next 5 years. In order to increase the income of the farmers, the government has also launched a campaign to turn the Annadata into Urjdata. 20 lakh solar pumps are being provided to farmers under the Pradhan Mantri Kusum Yojana. Government is also encouraging production of ethanol from sugar cane, maize and paddy. Due to the affirmative policies of the government over the past 6 years, the annual ethanol production has increased from 38 crore liters to 190 crore liters. The production is expected to reach 320 crore liter this year. Ethanol is emerging as major source for augmenting the income of farmers. Pujya Bapu had envisaged the development of self-reliant Adarsh Gram. Carrying this idea forward, my government has been working reluctantly so multifaceted development of villages, raising the standard of living of the villagers is a priority for my government. This is best exemplified by the 2 crore houses built since 2014 for the poor families living in villages in the country. Ready, start. Sir, politics has always been defined as a system under which you determine who gets what, how much, and how. Politics is concerned with the distribution of assets, resources, and goods and services of the society. But politics in our country has been reduced to a game of competitive acquisition, and we politicians perhaps are very exquisite animals. We are always confronting each other in order to get wealth, very hopefully for our states, for our regions, for our communities, a bigger share of the cake. Some sort of a struggler is essential. Certain degree of competition ought to be there. But when it is carried to a point where we start encroaching upon the legitimate aspirations of another region of our country, then perhaps we give rise to a situation which does not augur well for harmony to which my friend referred. Sir, we have two ways of looking at the problems that are with us today. One is, of course, to go into contemporary reality. The other is to take a conceptual view, and that what I imagine the Commission has tried to do. What is ought to be, what is the pattern that we should proceed towards. Of course, the real test will always be how we can change from the contemporary reality to that ideal which we are harping on. But the tendency that we find today, whether it is the central government or the state governments, the overall tendency over the last 50 years has been that every political party is our country, and every political leader has been speaking in terms of decentralization of power, keeping in view that surrender is the ultimate test. But the actual fact, we must admit that the trend has been towards centralization, more and more power and more functions have gone upwards, even from the level of the local bodies or municipalities. The functions that we at one time carried out by panchayats, they have all become concentrated into the hind, what you call bureaucracy or the district administration or the state governments. In fact, if I say so, to a large extent, many of those functions have also in effect been concentrated in the hands of the central government. There are ways of doing it. Some are blessed with favor and some are looked at with disfavor. Ready? Start. And that creates to my mind a situation which I think in the larger national interest we should avoid. So, how do we reverse this trend? This is a question to my mind. We might we must start with this confession that this trend of 50 years has to be reversed. Gandhiji talked of the Gram Panchayat, and that is why when I think of the center state relations, I am not confining myself to just the relations between the center and the state. I think you have to think of the center state relations in the larger perspective of decentralization of power, when it logically follows that a state government must be prepared to share its power with the district level and whatever authority we have at the district level, and power should be decentralized to the block level and right down to the Gram Panchayat level. And I was very happy the other day when the Prime Minister did talk about reversing the planning process. That is what we have been arguing for so many years, that economic and social planning of this country must not be carried out in the ivory towards of Delhi. I must begin from the grassroots level. A combination of panchayat plan must give us a district plans. A combination of district plans must give us a state plan. And similarly, a combination of state plans must finally give us the national plan. Of course, I am not taking into considerations those specific areas of authority in which, for example, the center is supreme. Thereof course, the center has to plan by itself. I will come to that later, but broadly, that should be the pattern. Having said this, I would like to say that from a purely functional point of view, and by virtue of geography and history, by virtue of the very size of our country, and by virtue of the plurality which is a gift of history, efficiency in administration and accountability are just not possible without a degree of decentralization. If the village teacher is not working, the education minister at the center cannot control. It is impossible. If a medical officer in the primary health center is not paying due attention to his job, it is only at that level that his performance can be controlled and he can be made accountable there itself. Therefore, there has to be monitoring at that level, and for that monitoring to be effective, there has to be authority vested at that level. Ready, start. Honorable members, under the Swamitwa scheme launched by my government, villagers are now acquiring legal rights over their property. With ownership rights, the villagers can now easily avail bank loans and housing loans against the collateral of their properties, and economic activities are expected to gain momentum in the rural areas. Small entrepreneurs, people associated with cottage industries and small farmers would be especially benefited under the scheme. Baba Sahib Ambedkar was not only the principal architect of the Indian Constitution but also guided the development of the country's water policy. On 8th November 1945, during a conference in Cuttack, he had said, "Water is wealth. Water being the wealth of the people and its distribution being uncertain, the correct approach is not to complain against nature but to conserve water, drawing inspiration from Baba Sahib. My government is working on the ambitious scheme of Jal Jeevan Mission, Besides delivering water to every household, work on water conservation is also progressing at a rapid pace. I am happy to say that under this scheme, 3 crore families have been connected with piped water supply so far. Under this scheme, water connection is being provided on propriety to brothers and sisters belonging to the scheduled castes and scheduled types as well as other deprived sections of the society. Para. Keeping in mind the requirements of the 21st century and with a view to improving the connectivity of our villages, my government has made commendable progress in expanding the network of rural roads under the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Construction of 6.42 lakh kilometer of road network has been completed in rural areas of the country. In the third phase of this scheme, 1.25 lakh kilometer roads connecting the settlements, schools, markets, and hospitals in rural areas will also be upgraded. Along with roads, internet connectivity is equally important in the rural areas. After ensuring electrification of every village, my government is implementing a mission to connect over 6 lakh villages of the country through optical fiber. Our small scale industries, cottage industries, and MSMEs spread across the villages and small towns are the backbone of our economy. These small scale industries have immense potential of making India self reliant. This sector accounts for about 50% of India's total exports. Several steps have been taken to enhance the role of MSMSS in the mission aimed at developing at Atmanirbhar Bharat. Development of small and cottage industries has received the requisite impetus through measures like modification in the definition of MSMEs, increase in the investment limit, or propriety in government procurement. Start. Honorable members, it is a constant endeavor to my government to ensure that benefits of entrepreneurship are availed by every section in the country. Under schemes like Hunar Haat and Ustad, not only the skills of lakhs of crafts persons are being developed, but unemployment opportunities are also being generated. Under these schemes, women crafts persons comprise more than half of the beneficiaries. These crafts persons are being connected to the global market through e-heart. Women entrepreneurs have a vital role to play in building a self-reliant India. My government has taken several steps to provide new opportunities for self-employment to women. Under the Mudra scheme, more than 25 crore loans have been sanctioned so far, of which nearly 70% have been given to women entrepreneurs. Under Deen Dayal उपाध्याय योजना, राष्ट्रीय ग्रामीण आजीविका मिशन, more than 7 crore women entrepreneurs have become a part of the network of nearly 66 lakh self-help groups in the country. These women groups have been provided bank loans worth rupees 3,40,000 crores in the last 6 years. Para. Keeping in mind the health concerns of working women in rural areas of the country, the government is implementing the Subidha scheme, under which sanitary napkins are made available at a nominal cost of rupees 1. My government is relentlessly working towards protecting the health of infants and pregnant women through various initiatives like राष्ट्रीय पोषण अभियान, free checkups and financial assistance to pregnant women. As a result of this, the maternal mortality rate has declined from 130 per lakh in 2014 to 113. The under 5 child mortality rate has also reduced to 36 for the first time, which is less than the world average rate of 39. As my government considers it is important to ensure equal participation by women, it is providing new opportunities for our sisters and daughters in various fields. My government has taken several decisions in this direction, such as appointing women in the fighter stream of the Indian Air Force and the military police for the first time, as well as allowing women to work in underground and open cast mines during the night shift. Keeping in mind the safety of the women, work on several initiatives such as setting up one-stop centers, national database of criminals, emergency response support system, and fast-track courts across the country is progressing at a rapid pace for women as such. Start. Sir, at the very outset, I congratulate the Ministry of Steel and Mines for its efficient working. There has been in the past propaganda on behalf of the private sector that it alone can deliver the goods, it alone is a fiction, and that the public sector is notorious for mismanagement, for inefficiency, and for loss of production. Both the things have been exploited by the working of the public sector since the year 1981, and in streamlining the administration of the public undertakings, the Steel Ministry has played a key and crucial role. Para. There has been a mismanagement in this company and its management was taken over. I am personally of the view that whenever mismanagement is visible in any private sector undertaking, then instead of only taking its management for a limited period, it should be taken over permanently, and it should not be a short and half-hearted measure. The company should have been taken over acquired as it is sought to be done now in the year 1982 itself. Once the government comes to the conclusion that the company's affairs are not being conducted in an efficient manner, and when the government has to invest funds to the tune of crores of rupees, where is the question of reversing the decision that it may go back to the same old management? Para. Now the second thing is that there is a new strategy which is being restored to by this private business. They somehow or other welcome the takeover of their undertaking, and they start the process of mismanagement deliberately so that the government may be compelled to take it over. They do not invest any money in the renovation of the machinery, which ultimately becomes nothing but a junk, and they would have derived the maximum benefit out of their investment long time ago, and at the time when it is being taken over, nothing worthwhile is left in the undertaking. So it should be taken over at the earliest stage. We are now talking of commitment to the philosophy of the Constitution. The philosophy of the Constitution means that we are committed to the establishment of an egalitarian society where there would be not only political and legal justice, but there would be economic justice. If we want socialism, it should come in a proper and effective way.